Sanibonani, Dumelang, hello. I'm Tumelo Setlaba, and today we are going to speak about African representation and inclusivity and how Enabler plays a role in this area.
Hi, my name is Esther. We are very happy to be here today. Like all of you, we share a passion for conversational AI solutions in the African marketplace, and we have heard amazing presentations over the last 2 days. So what we are going to do is talk about who we are, Enabler, what services we offer, and then we swap towards a presentation around natural language processing models, languages in Africa, needs and opportunities, bottlenecks, and how we have helped clients with some practical use cases. Then we will close off with some takeaways and calls to action. I'm founder and CEO of Enabler. My background lays in corporate world, and I've been working for quite a number of years in commercial and operational roles for Nike, Naspers, and BP. From my experience working in global retail, I know the importance of language in serving customers in local marketplaces. I've also had quite extensive experiences with omnichannel retail and a need for inclusive chatbots.
A little more about me. Before I joined Enabler, I had taken on roles within multinational companies, including Uber, Naspers, and Jumia. But one of my biggest motivations of being part of Enabler go far beyond my professional background. Having grown up in South Africa, I speak to you today with an affinity of multiple languages. My dad is Sotho, my mom is Xhosa. I grew up in a Zulu-speaking province, took the compulsory study of Afrikaans, and received my entire education in English. So I know a little bit about operating with different languages is all about.
A little bit more about Enabler. We are a data labeling service provider. As you can see, we are African, our voice is African, and we aim to create an impact by creating entry-level tech jobs for the fourth industrial revolution. Through our mobile platform, we hope to play a role in making Africa AI ready. Our vision is to become a stepping stone and develop skill sets for AI and data scientists in the future world, and build a Pan-African community of data labelers, analysts, language specialists, and reviewers. Now you could wonder why data labeling, why is this important? It's a short introduction about ourselves. If you think about the biggest companies in the world that are driven through AI, Google, Netflix, Tesla, the most important asset is data. Data is actually the new gold. And data labeling is an integral part in building those AI models or machine learning models. As you can see, over 75% of the tasks in training and building data sets for machine learning purposes are related to data labeling and the services that we as Enabler offers. Data labeling can unlock value in the large unstructured data sets that are needed to train machine learning models. That, combined with the vision of creating an impact to reduce youth unemployment in South Africa, has made us found Enabler 2 years ago. As we said earlier, a lot of different industries and clients are in need of clean, structured data sets. As you can see on this slide, there's several services that Enabler offers, from natural language processing models to image video annotation for computer vision models, models on entity recognition, text classification, form and text processing, character recognition, and bots. Today we will talk more about bots, but before that we'll speak a little bit more about languages. Maybe important to add, Enabler offers an end-to-end service model through our own platform, and that platform allows for our humans in the loop, or our labelers, to work through our services. We match client demand with that database of experts, and with that we create an impact. As said earlier, we work with image, video, text, and audio data sets. For the purpose of this presentation, we are going to focus on text and audio data sets that are needed to build inclusive language chatbots and related models in the marketplace. Through audio transcriptions, text translations, and text and sentiment analysis for social media purposes, for example, for which it's all important to be well represented into the local languages of the market you operate in. Natural language processing and natural language understanding are indispensable for people to communicate with each other across the world in different languages. Data sets and large quantities of data sets are needed to train those type of NLP and NLP models. Those data sets need to be created by experts to build such model, and ultimately can lead to solutions in the healthcare space, call center, multilingual chatbots, and other elements, as you have probably already learned this week.
So let's take a look at the status quo in the African continent in terms of NLP and natural language in Africa. On the African continent, over 2,000 languages and dialects are spoken by a total of 17% of the global population. In South Africa alone, we have 12 official languages, including sign language, which are already not digitally recorded properly, let alone the traditional dialects that have not been recorded at all yet. Naturally, people communicate in different ways, by speaking, by making gestures, signing, and through written work. The fourth industrial revolution is all about advancement in technology. So it cannot be that a revolution on the African continent can only take place in a few languages. So in terms of local languages, it's fair to argue that the African continent has been underserved, undervalued, and underrepresented. Now, in the natural language processing sphere, we'd like to deep dive into the African continent and South Africa as a whole. Africa has the highest linguistic diversity in the world. The people who regard English to be their local dialect in Africa are estimated at about 6.5 million. This number then shoots up to more than 130 million people when you include people that consider English to be their second language. NLP, however, has developed as a field narrowly focused on English. With such a strong focus on the language, we miss cross-linguistic insights in politics, commerce, and culture due to the lack of coverage for the majority of languages in the world. This is the updated list of the most spoken languages in Africa. Now, let's take a deep dive into South Africa. isiZulu and isiXhosa are the largest languages, while English is spoken at home by only 1 in 10 people. In order to fine-tune these speech and text models, a sufficient amount of high-quality audio transcript data is needed in various domains. Consequently, there's an extremely high demand for label transcriptions and translations, especially for low-resource languages like many of the African languages. Many big companies like Google, Facebook, have open sourced a wide variety of pre-trained speech-to-text models, but the need is still there and very much urgent. So what are some of the challenges we face for the growth of NLP in African languages? Well, it starts with the lack of resources for African languages, which hinder the ability for researchers to do machine translations. The resources for African languages that do exist are hard to find and usually associated with a specific institution or published in journals or broadcasted in conferences while not being electronically available. So often one needs to be associated with a specific institution in a specific country to gain access to the language data available for that country. This then reduces the ability of countries and institutions to combine their knowledge and data sets to achieve better performance and innovations. So it's due to the low discoverability and the lack of research in the field that there are no publicly available benchmarks or leaderboards to compare new NLP techniques. So if the data and code of existing research are shared, researchers can produce the results properly. So the call to action here is to build language databases.
How Enabler is trying to solve for the issues mentioned earlier is that we support an array of African languages in different solutions. We offer an end-to-end NLP service offering, and through our cloud-based platform, our domain experts work on data sets for speech-to-text models, so transcriptions from audio to text, basically. Speaker separation transcript, think about doctor-patient conversations in healthcare, summarizations, local language benchmark data sets, which are needed as a foundation to build the local language models, text-to-text translations, and ultimately chatbot training, which we'll talk a little bit more today.
If you're trying to persuade people to do something or buy something, it makes sense to use their language, the language they use every day, the language in which they think and make decisions. What the client required in this instance was for their chatbot to find a way to detect the incoming language from the user, translate it to the language the bot understood, then translate the bot responses to the user's original input language. We, as Enabler, have access to a world-class network of translators and transcribers to meet specific domain needs of each industry. Here's another example. Think of the last time you bought something online. Did you read a review? You probably did. When making a purchase online, there's always a bit of risk involved, especially from a lesser-known website. And of course, the descriptions you provide can only go so far in establishing trust. In the real world, personal recommendations reign king. Research shows that online, 88% of people trust user reviews as much as personal recommendations. The benefits go even further. As far as SEO is concerned, translated reviews will help you display higher in search results, regardless of what language the prospective customer is searching in, as well as in search engines in other languages. So regardless of the search engine, people tend to use their native language, obviously. So having a presence there can be super valuable. So in this use case, we did work for a big global review site where people could leave reviews in their local language in Sepedi, Zulu, and Afrikaans. This required translations of 3 data sets into Zulu, Sesotho, and Sepedi. In domain-sensitive applications such as legal or medical or construction, we can improve translation quality, and this is a great approach for most use cases. But there are some outliers which might require light post-editing by human teams, which we also provide as a human-in-the-loop service.
So how do we work as an enabler? As was mentioned earlier, we work with domain experts in the linguist field, and they are aided by our platform, which is specifically designed and tailor-made to deliver the highest quality and accuracy of data sets, especially in the language space. So we have built in QA models and ground truth settings into our platform that help. What you can see here is more generically our circle and how we work in terms of data upload, fully integrated into the cloud partner of choice of our clients, cleaning data sets, may it all be audio, image, or text, labeling, organizing, reviewing, training and retraining a model, and then ultimately learn from it and potentially making those data sets, as we said earlier, available to the wider world to learn from as a benchmark. So why do clients want to work with us or have given feedback on the interest in working with Enabler? We bring humanity into the loop and into those models. By delivering high quality, we are able to establish trust. We offer a customized and personal service offering that's extremely flexible and scalable. So we can quickly upscale and downscale the amount of people working on a data set without any additional charge to the client. We work fast, and ultimately, most importantly, in this area, in Africa, is we create an impact. So it's very important for the advancement of technology and AI that we bring prosperity and inclusivity to a wider range of people. Otherwise, some parts of Africa, the continent, and even a country of South Africa, are being left out, and parts of the population are not being aided at all by any advancement in technology and AI. Some happy clients, always nice to share. This is just an example of some of our clients that we have been serving, both in South Africa and outside. We have been serving some clients in Europe, Canada, the US. And it's always great to know that there's experts in the field, especially also machine learning and NLP, that trust our services and endorse what we do. And ultimately with that also help create an impact. So if we then think about the takeaways for today, I think what we have seen is that advancements in technology and AI require digital solutions, as we have all seen through the acceleration of COVID and lockdown. A lot of governments, semi-public institutions and corporates have had to accelerate their spend on building digital solutions. What's important here is that we always think about what's the most inclusive way of designing those solutions. And what is the way in which we can have the widest reach to our different customer segments in the marketplace? If you think about language, that means you have to adapt, you have to customize, you have to localize. With that, there needs to be a prioritization of building and spending money on building local language data sets. And as those language models require a huge quantity of data, hours of speech and text, it is very important for smaller languages that there is this sense of sharing and community building in more and less sensitive data sets. So there is, for example, a network called Masakane of African academics all over Africa that share open source data sets in local African languages. If you as a client would be more interested in more dedicated service offering through the Enabler platform, which is fully secure and reliable, then that's also a choice you can make. Ultimately, we don't want anyone to miss out on the opportunity. It might sound daunting if we think about all the different bottlenecks mentioned today. However, the prize is big. If we are able to convert all those great advancements in technology into solutions that work for everyone, we all win. Don't miss out on that opportunity. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Feel free to reach out to both Tumelo or myself. We are also in the virtual stand and you can find our details. And yeah, I would say in the Dutch way of saying goodbye, tot ziens. I hope to speak to you and potentially work with you in the future. And we're very keen to hear your feedback and comments on this presentation.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.